Hey guys, welcome to my series / crash course on setting up Unity for the first time. The goal of this series is to be a quick start guide to any developer wanting to create a simple augmented reality project that can be exported to iOS or Android using Unity. I'm excited to share this with you all, so let's dive in and get going. The first thing we need to do is create accounts for this project. You will need a Unity account to download the Unity Hub software. The Unity Hub software is the tool you will use to download the actual Unity software and Unity tools, as well as manage your projects. This Hub software allows you to download older and newer versions of Unity. As you work on your projects, you'll find that sometimes you need an older version because it's more stable with this tool or that tool, or you've been working for a couple months and there's a newer version, you'll use this tool to update the current version of Unity that you're using. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here. If you look for id.unity or Unity account, you'll get to ID Unity's website. You come here and you're going to create a Unity ID. So you'll set everything up, make your new account, and go through that process. Once you're done, you'll have your Unity account. You can log in and you'll have access to download and do what you need to do. The next account you're going to need is a Pexels account. So Pexels is the tool we're going to use to get videos and photos and different things. It's free stock images and videos. This is a great tool just to get you started and find what you're looking for. So once you create this Pexels account, you'll come here, you'll hit join over here in the top right. You can see there's in the video section, you can put, beach or put whatever you want. And there's different videos here you can download and try out. You can see it playing here and just free sample material that we'll use later in the project. They also have images, and at this point we may not need this tool for the images because we're going to use a very simple target, but we just might come to Pexels and get our image from here as well. So just go ahead, make the account, keep it rolling. The next thing you're going to need is something called TurboSquid. So TurboSquid, very similar to Pexels, is a place you can go to get free and paid for 3D assets and models. What does that mean? So during this project, we're going to have things come into life in 3D, and you need a 3D model or a 3D object to do that. So you'll come here, you'll hit join on the top. Once you join, you can go through and start searching for different things. Here I put dinosaurs, right? When you hit the filter and price in the top left, you can hit free. And here you can find just some starter things to get us going and get us moving and just get the project going. Once you really start understanding this, and if you want to go down this path, I do recommend buying something that has the FBX and the OBJs. These files you'll need to go ahead and create these different experiences for your users and animate them and all those good things. That you'll figure out in another tutorial, but here we're just going to get things started and loaded and move on. The next thing you'll need is developer accounts. So this is an advanced step. It is not required, but I just want to make sure you understand what it is, why it's here, and all that good stuff. So if you open a developer account, there are currently two types that are most popular. There's Android and iOS. iOS is a $99 per year account. Android is $25 or $30 for a lifetime account. So you would go to Android developer account, and this is kind of weird. When you do this, when you click the link, it brings you to the studio, to the portal to download the tool and download Android Studio and do all these different things. What you really want is down here, the Google Play console, the Google Play console. Once you get there, that's where you'll get to sign in and you'll get access to open your account and do all those different things and actually get going on starting that process. That is something outside of the scope of this video. It's not hard, it's just a bunch of steps, and I'm not going to go through it for the sake of this video, but making you aware. The last phase is if you want an Apple, iOS, Mac developer account. Again, this account here, you'll click on Apple Developer. It'll take you to this page where you can see all the different features they offer, what have you. You will have to make an Apple account, so go ahead and create your Apple ID and go through all those steps and phases to get that going and do what's needed there. Once you're done, you'll be able to sign in, and you don't truly sign in as a developer on the Apple side. You'll have to pay the fee and sign up for a developer account, all those different things. It's not hard to do. On the Android side, it's not hard to do there either. It's steps. Go through it. You'll figure it out. Let's move on. So again, I want to reiterate that in the end, you do not need an Apple or Android developer account to continue. We will still be able to deliver the experiences to a phone, and we'll be using an Android phone because as you're doing this, it is easier to deliver to an Android device than it is to deliver to an iOS device. So if you have an old Android phone or anything laying around, a tablet, we'll be planning to use those for this experience. If you don't, just continue. They may have made changes since I've made this that it still allows you to export to iOS and push to your device. So don't give up, just keep moving forward, and we're going to move on with the experience. Let's go. All right, welcome back in. And the next step that we need to go through is to download our assets and just get the materials we'll need to start our project and get the project going. So the first thing we need obviously is a target. Well, not obvious to you yet, but the way augmented reality works is in this respect, you need a target for the camera to look at, and then it will lay the experience on top of said target. So we're going to get our target. So we're going to use a QR code because they're very easy to deal with. Their colors are very contrasting, right? So the one part is hard black, the other is hard white. So the computer camera can see it clear. So any target you use, if you want to use a dinosaur, you want to use a car, if the grass and the dinosaur are similar colors or different things are similar, cameras are not like the human eye. They can only perceive what they see and it'll come off as very much the same. So try to use contrasting, very aggressive lights, very aggressive darks as your target, and you'll see good results. All right, so we're going to go to Google. We're going to search for QR code generator. The one that I'm using today that I've come to like is QR.io. You don't need an account for this. It's just a quick way to get something going. So you're going to come here. You're going to go to QR.io generator. You can see there's links. We're going to use that. So we're going to use something like apple.com. They have a compare MacBook models link, right? So we're going to use that as our target link. So we're going to paste that in the submit URL section, and you'll notice that in a couple seconds it will generate your QR code and you're done. You could download the PDF or SVG, what have you, or if you're on a Mac, you can even take a screenshot, so that way if you're worried about, downloading something else, you can just screenshot it and go about it. Take your phone, turn on your camera and point it at the QR code and see if it activates. If you get the, go to, when you tap it, make sure it goes to the site that you posted and you're good. There are options. You could change the colors and all these different things. When you make your account, you get even more features and more things. For this, don't bother. Just use the basics. That way we can get going fast and move through this. Perfect. So now we have our target QR code. The next thing we want to do is find a video and a 3D model or object that will be displayed on top of this target. So we're going to start with the video. So let's go to pexels.com. If you made an account, perfect. Go there, find any video. You can see here I did MacBooks, or you can do whatever you want. Just find something. Don't spend too much time on. Just get something small and something fast, something short, just to see the results work. Because once we're done, you can change all these things so easily. Don't get caught up in searching for the perfect picture and perfect. Just download something small. Perfect. So now we have our target. We have our video output. Now we're going to also download a 3D model as a 3D model output. So we're going to Google Sketchfab free models. And when we do this, Sketchfab has kind of a starter page. It has some beautiful assets we can download. Let's download one of these cars that are free. And then we're going to download the drone that has, propellers and things like that. That's also free. The formats that we're looking at are FBX and GLTF. I'm sure there are numerous formats that Unity can use, but for the sake of this tutorial, we're only going to download those two types of formats, and I want you to notice the different file size differences in those two formats. And as we drag them into Unity and it imports the packages, you'll kind of see how they act a little different or very similar. But again, just get a FBX, and OBJ is also another one, or GLTF. Great, so now we have all of our assets that we need. The next thing we need to do is download Unity. So let's go ahead and download the Unity Hub. So Unity is it's different in some respect, where With this application, you download the hub, and the hub is the place you'll go to get the latest version of Unity or a previous version of Unity for a project you're working on, but the hub is going to be your starting point for everything you do. Perfect. So now we've downloaded and installed Unity Hub. It's time to open it, log in, and get started. So on the bottom, you'll notice there's a community section, and this section just has different things and different resources. There is a Learn tab that has tons of tutorials, just different tools to get you started and really help you make things with Unity. There's the Install section, and here is where you download the Unity application, so to speak, where if I'm working on a team and they're using an older version of Unity, here I can go to Install Editor and find that exact version they're using. If I'm brand new, I'll come here and download the latest version and use that. When I download the latest version or any version, for the sake of AR, you want to add the Android build support and the iOS build support. And if you're doing anything else in the future, you'll know what to select. But you'll go through, select that, and then the very bottom, you want to add the documentation. That way it's there, it's downloaded. If you're offline, you have access to it. You go ahead, accept the license, you hit install, and you'll notice on the bottom left, there's a download box, and you'll see the progress of the download going. So if you're on a Mac and you run into a install failed error message like I did here on mine, this is simply saying the application for Unity Hub is downloaded to the applications folder. It's trying to download the versions of Unity into the same folder, and the app does not have permissions to write to the applications folder. All you have to do is change this directory and settings to your user account directory /Unity or / whatever you want to call it, and that will allow you to progress and download what you need to download. I tend to keep my Unity things in the same place. So my Unity installs are, I have a folder, so I have my home folder. I have a folder inside called Unity Installs, and then another folder inside called Unity Projects. And that way everything for Unity is stored in one place. And I actually have an extra folder called Unity Exports, where when we're done, we'll be exporting things out. It all is contained. Now our install is complete. We have Unity, we're ready to go. So we're going to go up to Projects, we're going to click on New Project, and from here we're going to do 3D Core. We're going to name the project, you can just name it Test, Tutorial 1, whatever. Location, I tend to keep my Unity things in the same place. So my Unity installs are, I have a folder, so I have my home folder. I have a folder inside called Unity Installs, and then another folder inside called Unity Projects. And that way everything for Unity is stored in one place. And I actually have an extra folder called Unity Exports, where when we're done, we'll be exporting things out. It all is contained in that same place. So do that, hit Create Project. It's going to download what it needs to download. It'll open up, it'll let you know if there's any updates for Unity, and would you like to download the newest version? That's all up to you. But again, run through those steps and we're ready to go. Okay, so welcome back. Now that we have Unity installed and we're ready to go, the next thing we need to do is download the packages to allow us to make these AR experiences. So I'm going to put those packages in the description. I'm also going to open a prior project that I made on the left and this new project on the right. That way we can see each thing in order and we should be able to match them up. If your experience looks like mine, the default layout, you will see packages on the bottom left. You'll see your favorites, your assets, you'll see packages. You want to right click on packages and click on View Package Manager. When the window opens, you want to hit Packages on the top. Change it from In Project to Unity Registry. This will allow you to search and download from the Unity Registry location. On the right hand side, you'll see a search box, and that's where you want to type in the different pieces you want to download one by one and install. I'll read the names off. As you can see in the video, they're all listed, and we'll go one by one. We're going to download AR Foundation, AR Subsystems, ARCore XR plugin, and ARKit XR plugin. So in the search box, we'll type in ARKit. You'll see ARKit XR plugin. When you click on the name on the left, you'll see an install on the bottom right. When you click install, it'll download the package from their registry and load that for you. And you'll repeat these steps one by one for each piece you want to add to the system. So you want to go through the list, download the things that are listed, install them, and then move on to the next video. Now let's update our project settings. We're going to click on Edit, Project Settings. We're going to go down to the XR Plugin Management, and we're going to update our iOS and Android settings. So click on the Android tab. We're going to add ARCore. That'll install. We're going to click on the iOS tab and click on ARKit. Let that install. And next we'll go down to each section and make sure we have required for both. We're going to leave the other settings alone. We're going to go down to ARKit, and we're going to turn on face tracking and leave required checked. Our last step is to go into Project, Player, and update the other settings for iOS and Android. So we're going to come down, and the first thing we're going to do in iOS is update our build identifier. So we're going to click in the box. We'll put COM, AR test 1, AR test 1. It's all set. We're going to go down. Make sure that your target is a minimum of 11, iPhone and iPad, and you're good to go. On the Android side, we're going to click Android, go to Other Settings. We're going to go down. We're going to make sure our graphics API only has the OpenGL, and then we'll move down a little further, and we're going to do the same steps. We're going to look for our package name, same, com.artest1.artest1. Make sure that your minimum API level is Android 7, and our target is the highest, and we are good to go. The next step we're going to take is solely for learning purposes. So we're going to delete the directional light, the session origin, and the AR session. So you can highlight these, right click them, and say delete. And we're going to re-add these to our scene so you can understand how things are added and created on the AR experience. Our first step will be to add a directional light. So let's right click the blank space, click on light and directional light. Let's update the settings. So under mode, we're going to change it from real time to mixed, and from shadow type from no shadows to soft shadows. Next, let's add an AR session origin. So we'll right click, we'll go down to XR, click on AR session origin. Next, let's add some components. So we're going to click on add component, and we're going to add an AR plane manager. Press enter. It's looking for a plane prefab. So right now there's no objects there. So double click this box or hit the little arrow on the side. Click on assets and then do a search for AR plane. And this came with the sample materials when you downloaded the template for AR. Perfect. Now let's add the last three components. We're going to click on add component. We're going to add AR anchor manager. Add component. We're going to add AR raycast manager and anchor creator. Now our AR session origin is created and all set. Let's click the little arrow on the left and it'll drop down. You'll see AR camera. Click on that and let's confirm we have all our settings ready. The AR camera comes with an audio listener and an AR pose driver. For this example, we're going to turn these off because we won't need these. And we're going to add a component called tracked pose driver. Press enter. And you'll see here to the bottom of the list, we can click the three dots and move it up. Click the three dots and move it up. And we are all set. Now let's add an AR session to our experience. So we'll click the blank space, right click on XR and add an AR session. Let's click on this AR session. All the default settings here are set, so we're good to go. Now let's add our visual experience. So for the sake of this demo, we're going to add something very simple. Let's right click in the blank space, go down to 3D object, and just add a cube, a cylinder, a sphere, capsule, add whatever you like. Now we have our experience created. We have our 3D object. You can see that it's currently sitting right on top of the AR session origin, and this origin contains our AR camera. So we want to move this. I used a capsule. I'm going to slide this forward. That way it appears in front of the camera and not on top of the camera. You can move this up or down, left or right. You can decide where it goes. You can add another object here. 3D objects. I'll add a cube. And the same thing, I'll move it right next to the other one. And I'll slide it over a little bit. And let's add one more, a sphere. Slide it forward, right in the middle. And we're all set. Now let's run our experience. Click on File, Build Settings. And here you will see iOS and Android. So let's click on Android. We're going to click on Development Build. Let's click on iOS, and we're going to click on Development Build. Now click the platform you actually plan to build on, and you want to click the Switch Platform button. It's going to start doing what it needs to do and importing the settings and loading. Once everything is complete, you'll see a Unity icon, and this lets you know which platform you're currently building on. When I click on Build, it'll ask me where do I want to save these files. So I'm going to hit the drop down here. And what I like to do, I like to add a new folder, call it Builds. In this folder, I like to add two folders. So one for Android, and it moved me. So I'm going to go up, I'm going to go back to Builds and add a new folder for iOS. I'm going to go back up. And you can see in your builds folder, you have both. So me, I'm doing Android. I'm going to double click Android. I'm going to name this file. So AR test 1. I'm going to hit save. Now, before you click the build button, make sure you add your scene to the experience. Then click build. And it'll build the application file. It'll ask you, do you want to save your current changes to the scene? You're going to say yes, save scene. Once your build is complete, the file will appear in its folder, and you can drag this onto your phone, or you can click on the build and run, and that will build it and run it to your phone. Once the build is complete on iOS, you open the iOS folder, you go down to the Xcode project. When you double click it, it'll open up Xcode. It'll process and load the index files, and once that's complete, you're able to plug in your phone and run this off your phone from Xcode. You will have to put your phone in developer mode. There are some steps to show you how to do so, but you are good to go from that point on. Now that we've tested and verified the experience is running, you can use the assets you've downloaded and add them to your experience. You can do this in two ways. Option 1, right-clicking the assets folder in the project view, or option 2, in the project view, left-click on the assets folder and right-clicking on the blank space to the right. Click Create, click Folder, you'll name it, and you're all set. Let's start by adding the following folders: 3D models, prefabs, images, scripts, and videos. Once our folders are created, we can begin drag and dropping our assets. Put your videos in the videos folder, images in the images folder. Our 3D models and assets are currently in zip files. We cannot drag and drop those into Unity. First, we must unzip the folders, then drill down into the source folder and unzip the source file as well. Once this is completed, then we can drag the unzipped main folder into our 3D models folder. Now we have our 3D models in our source folder. We can drag the FBX or OBJ model files into the scene. You can tell which files to drag because they will have a play button on top of their image. You can position your models by using the arrows to drag them left, right, up, and down using the X, Y, and Z axis. You can also rescale and resize your assets by putting different values in the scale value. You can click on the Scene tab and use your scroll wheel on the middle of your mouse to zoom in and out of the experience. You can also click on an object and press F to zoom in and find that object. You can also hold the Alt key and drag to rotate the screen. Some assets will come with multiple textures that can completely change the appearance of the object. You can drag and drop these textures on top of your objects and get different results.